Okay, let's get some analysis of what might be behind this particular shooting. Phil Gurski is a former senior terrorism strategic analyst at CSIS. Phil, this is the second time the consulate was targeted, as we heard in Greg's story. What stands out to you about what happened here?
Sorry, you cut out there, Ian. My apologies.
Yeah, no problem. So we don't have a lot of information about what happened here, but when you hear the way the police describe it, the time of day, the shot that was fired, what stands out to you?
Very reminiscent of the attack earlier on this year. It was early in the morning, therefore a minimal risk of casualties. Clearly it was planned. The vehicle had no license plate, so it couldn't be traced. As to the motive, Ian, we have to wait and see. Was it simply a copycat event like what we saw earlier on? Is it linked to international terrorism or international organized crime? Again, I'm going to give the Toronto Police Services and their counterparts with the RCMP internationally the time to collect the evidence and see exactly what happened and why.
Yeah, well, and you know, they probably don't have the information. We certainly in the public don't have the information. But let me ask you this, drawing on your experience, I think what puzzles me is it does look like it's something that's meant to send a message, but no message is accompanying it. Nobody's claimed responsibility. Nobody has unfurled a banner. And so we have no idea what the message is here. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it's a good point, Ian. You know, when I dealt in terrorism with CSIS, in the aftermath of an attack, if a group sponsored it or wanted to be seen as behind it, they would immediately issue some kind of a propaganda like Islamic State or Al-Qaeda, et cetera. You're right, we have no statement whatsoever in this regard. It could be from someone that could have plausible deniability that they were behind it. We've seen that before in Canada, where foreign states have used proxy actors, often at very low cost to do this. But I think, as I said, you know, there's so much information we don't have right now. Clearly, someone's trying to send a message, but as you said, what that message is it anti-American? Is it anti-something else? We don't know, and we just need to give the police the time to do their investigations.
And they're also sending a message on a very hard target, right? Like sometimes we hear about soft targets that are chosen because, you know, it's civilians, they don't have defenses. Here you have the U.S. Consulate, which is fortified, basically. There is a police officer out front. And as you point out, the shooter chose the very early hours of the morning, presumably because there was little chance of a lot of people just passing by. I mean, it seems like almost a passive-aggressive kind of act. But let me ask you about the police officer out front. Some people have wondered, how do you get away with a shooting if there's a police officer right there?
Well, there's one officer. He, you know, the vehicle, did it slow down? Did it not slow down? There was one shot fired, I understand. He can't just run into a vehicle if it's nearby and chase the alleged suspect. He has to get on his radio and ask for help, for backup. That takes time. As we saw from the reporting from your reporter, the vehicle at one point reached 140 kilometers an hour on the Don Valley Parkway. So there's public safety involved there as well. But I mean, you know, policemen aren't perfect, Ian. They do the best jobs they can with the resources that they have. And they did engage in a car chase. And had it turned out differently, we may have a suspect, you know, in custody right now. But as it turns out, we're just waiting to find out more information.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about those pictures that were released by the Toronto Police Service. No license plate on the car, as you pointed out, so that makes it hard to trace. Do you think there's any usefulness that will come out of the public seeing these pictures?
It never hurts, Ian, for law enforcement to share with the public, because you never know who might say, oh, I recognize that vehicle, or I was driving, you know, 6 blocks north of that at a similar time, maybe a cab driver, for example. I may have seen something and they can report that to police. So this is why law enforcement reaches out to the Canadian public to see if they can assist in their investigation. So I tip my hat to TPS for doing that. And hopefully someone saw something at some point which will help the law enforcement investigations. But as you said, no license plate, it'd be pretty hard to track a vehicle with no license plate.
Yeah, but as you point out, you know, somebody might have seen someone take a license plate off the back of their car, or with a screwdriver putting it back on like half an hour after the shooting, right? You never know. And I guess one last thing I would say is that let's assume for a moment we're not dealing with the most sophisticated international criminals that you might see in a movie plot. Again, drawing on your experience, I assume that there is some likelihood, and certainly hope from police, that this person will boast about this, or they'll share it among a group of friends, that kind of thing could lead to cracking this case.
That's the beauty of, well, beauty, if I can use that term, in terms of criminals and terrorists. They love to boast about what they've done. We've seen this a lot on Instagram and other apps saying, I did this, I did that. Hopefully the person isn't the sharpest pencil in the box, and they put something online that can be tracked by police or other agencies, and it can lead to information that will lead to an arrest. But yeah, it's happened in the past, and we can only keep our fingers crossed that this guy is going to want to try and impress whomever that
All right, your signal, your signal is freezing. That's a good sign to me to end it there. Phil Gurski, a former senior terrorism strategic analyst at CSIS. Always nice to speak to you.